This is the moment we've been waiting for, the Valerian Max. I finally got my hands on one, and unfortunately this is just going to be an unboxing and first impressions video. This is not going to be the full review, and that's because I literally just got the final firmware that's going out with the units just a few days ago, and so I didn't have time to do all of my testing that I would normally do. But I know you guys have been waiting for this, and it's going to take me a few weeks to get that done. So in the meantime, I wanted to give you, well, a little bit of a teaser. And the Max, when it came in, I was surprised at the packaging. They have completely went away with the packaging that they went with the Plus 2 and the Pro 2. They went away with that hard case and instead went with this really nice leather stitch case. And I gotta say, it feels as premium as the projector. I was very impressed with the packaging. Now, there might be some people that are disappointed that it doesn't come with that hard case. I personally am not, because I see this as more of a home theater projector than a portable unit. So I would have probably just thrown that away or put it aside anyway. Now, once we got the projector out, I did notice it is a little bit bigger than the Pro 2. And I'm gonna assume that a lot of that has to do with the mechanical parts that are in it that the Pro 2 just doesn't need to have. Things like the iris control as well as the lens shift. Now, a lot of people were wondering about that lens shift. How does it work? Does it work well? I gotta say, it worked a lot better than I thought it would. It was very smooth, especially with the last update. Now, I haven't got to spend a lot of time with that, so I'll update you if anything should change, but so far, I'm very impressed with the vertical lens shift. Now, I've also mentioned that this does have a fixed iris. Now, it's supposed to be a dynamic iris, and that's what they've been claiming the whole time. Unfortunately, they don't have the dynamic iris on this firmware yet. That is something that they said will be coming, but not something that's there currently. And because of that, we have 6 iris settings, 1 through 6, and 6 is the one that I tested on. This is the one that will give you the most contrast. It's also the one that's going to cut the brightness the most, because it is going to be a static fixed iris. Because of that, on those bright scenes, it won't be as bright. Now, how much? I don't know. I didn't test it, unfortunately, yet, but I will test that, and I'll tell you exactly how much brightness you lose when I get a chance to hook up my testing equipment to it. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you get that. But this is where I started testing things, and things got amazing. I did the first scene of 1917, and 1917 is a torture test for projectors, especially this staircase scene. And this was unbelievable on the Max. Not only did we get those deep dark blacks that they were claiming with the contrast, but we got all that shadow detail. This is really important because most of these projectors that I review, if they can try to get that deeper, darker contrast, they lose that shadow detail. Now, some of this is because of Valerian's dynamic tone mapping, which they've done a really good job on. And another part of that also has to do with their dynamic contrast. And of course, the last part of that is their EBL, their laser dimming, which allows the lasers to dim as it gets darker and brighten up as it gets brighter. Now, they do have to use an algorithm to do that, because as you dim those lasers, they don't dim all at the same intensity. And so they need to make sure that there's no color shifting going on. And with my limited viewing, which has only been a few hours, I didn't notice any color shifting on it. Having said that, the EBL in conjunction with that iris has blown me away, especially on movies like this with Sonic, where the scene gets really, really bright and then it goes to a darker scene. I've never seen it look this good before. It's really, really been impressing me. And honestly, I've never seen a projector that provides this much color gamut as well as contrast at this price point. Now, keep in mind, I've only been testing Iris 6. I have not tested anything else yet. So when I'm giving you these first impressions, this is just for that and with a very limited time. Now, I also wanted to test out SDR, and so I tested out this opening scene of Underwater. And by the way, if you have a good surround sound system with subwoofers, make sure to buy this movie. It's unbelievable, especially this opening scene. And it was really impressive the way it looked. She had really nice rosy red cheeks in the video, and honestly, everything just looked the way it was supposed to. I was very impressed with its quality. Even in the darker scenes, we were still getting that shadow detail that we would often lose on other projectors, or they would just become this grayish mess. That's just not the case with the Max. It's doing a really good job preserving that detail no matter what scene I'm watching. Now, there are a couple downsides. I already mentioned that there is no dynamic iris yet, which is something that I was really excited about because that does preserve the brightness of the projector as well as the dark scenes. They did say that is going to be coming. And on top of that, I didn't see any lens memory, which is something that they talked about trying to implement. I haven't seen that yet. It's possible that I overlooked it, but I don't see it yet. Now, one of the things that people are going to really appreciate is that they do have a way to help eliminate or at least minimize the rainbow effect. For those of you who are sensitive to that, you can just go in here and select this setting. And by doing that, that does reduce the rainbow effect. Now, there is some downside to that. It is considerably louder and higher pitched. Now, unfortunately, that's just the way the technology works. There's nothing that we can really do about that. But you could get a hush box if that really did bother you, and it might be something that some of you do. But the fact that they have that on there is a really big positive and something that no one knew was going to be on it. Now, overall, with the limited time that I have looking at both SDR and HDR content, which I should mention, I am using an NVIDIA Shield and I am using this via Plex, so it is true 4K video that we're watching. I did shut Dolby Vision off. I'm only watching this with HDR10 right now. That's the only way I've tested it currently. Now, it is important to note that these are really just first impressions. There might be some things that I find later that I'm not as happy with, and I am only testing this in my theater room where it is completely light controlled. Now, when I do the full review, I'll make sure to test that also on an ambient light rejection screen, as well as this acoustically transparent woven screen that I'm already testing it on, and give you an idea of some of the other iris settings as well. All right, guys, make sure to subscribe if you want to get that. Otherwise, if you have any questions about the Max, go ahead and throw it in the comment section, and if I can answer them, I'll make sure I can. All right, guys, this is Toid, and I'm out.